I love you.
Liar!
No!
You're with him! You brought him here to kill me!
No!
Let her go, Anakin! You will not take her from me!
Your anger and your lust for power have already done that.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Content Cock. Let's call it Cock. So another rant video from me. Not something I expected to be doing so soon, but I had to because a lot of people have been asking me to do this because something huge has happened in the community, guys. Now, it's the end of the community. Rob Top has left us. He's betrayed our trust. The community is in bits. People are angry. People are frustrated. People want answers. What's happened? A level that a few people happen to not like got rated. That actually really hurt. Yeah, today we're going to be talking about Buff This by Boy of the Cones. A very controversial player, a very controversial level, and I am expecting it to be a very controversial episode of my rant series. But nonetheless, this is what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about controversial things, and maybe, wow, there's a red mark coming up in my forehead from where I slapped myself. We're here to talk about controversial things, and I hope we can examine this very hot topic and this key situation with a bit of objectivity and shed some reasonable light as an outside voice. So, Buff This, a level that has been rated, which is shock horror all straight fly. So a lot of people are upset, and as it is called Buff This, and the theme of it is called Nerf This, I rang up my good friend Truster, and I have brought with me today my trusty Nerf gun. So this is what we're going to be using to slay the evil Boy of the Cones. I'm joking, we're not actually going to be slaying Boy of the Cones at all. In fact, the majority of this video is going to be me defending Boy of the Cones because of the fact that I believe the community is engaging with this needless bullying of him for no other reason, in a place where actually Rob Top should be being blamed. But in fairness, Rob Top isn't actually at fault for doing anything. This has been this huge hysteria and overreaction because of a single level being rated, to the point that some skilled players have threatened to quit the game. Now, I shall talk about that in more detail later, along with a lot of other stuff. But generally, the thing I want you to, as I showed in the intro, the two things I want you to keep in mind as the themes of the episode are the anger and the lust for power of the creating community, because this is where the toxicity has come from. And this entire situation of mob mentality in GD has sort of brought out the worst in the community. So, this is what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about Buff This, one of my requested videos of the past month. Yeah, so let's get ready to talk about Buff This. Yay! So if you've made it this far without realising I'm not buying into the GD mob mentality and raping the comments section with hate, then I guess you'll be wanting a bit of background information. So let's start from the very beginning. The community's problems with Boy of the Cones began a long time before Buff This, even before 2.1. In order to understand where the community's hate is coming from, we need to go all the way back to the start of 2.0 and to Catabath. Boy of the Cones has always been a pretty hated GD player, and this is why, this level. Does anyone remember when GD Water was like a big channel? No? Me neither. But just in case you do, you may remember that this video he did, back when he used to do viral commentary videos that were text-to-speech and clickbaited to shit. In one of these videos, he talked about Catabath, a pretty shit mix of Cataclysm plus Bloodbath plus some other unoriginal parts to make a complete mess of a level. A complete mess of a level that actually got rated. After this, Boy of the Cones lied about being a GD moderator, claiming he knew RobTop and just generally provided a bullshit excuse for a level that RobTop was either clearly his face when he rated or was too busy to look at the actual level and rated it by mistake. Well anyway, after this, Boy of the Cones spent the next year redeeming himself. He bought a new monitor and he practiced to become a better player, and he assembled this mega collab called After Catabath, which was pretty decent and pretty hard, and he verified it legit. It was pretty cringy, and Boy of the Cones was as over dramatic as anything.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh crap!
But yeah, it didn't get rated, and so Boy of the Cones did this emotional quitting video and begged RobTop to rate it, and somehow RobTop actually relented. He forgave Boy of the Cones, rated After Catabath, and yeah, all was forgiven. RobTop seems to have a strange soft spot for Coneboy like he doesn't with any other player, and the two have bantered on stream on more than one occasion. Anyway, a few weeks ago, Coneboy asked RobTop if there was any chance of him rating a level that was literally all straight flying, and RobTop said the following. And so Coneboy set out making his minute-long straight fly level and got 2 decorators to make it look half decent, so to appease RobTop's wish. The end result was a level called Buff This, and it was 1 minute of pure straight flying, with a bit of decoration to make it look presentable. And anyway, when it was released, everyone went absolutely mad about it, hating on the level and abusing Boy of the Cones. 2 famous players, Lukequalizer and Rico LP, actually went as far as to threaten to quit the game if it was released. And, well, the other day, it was rated. The community went berserk, with many pointing out RobTop had rated this but not some other good-looking and deserving levels like the Hell Origin, which I agree on to an extent that, yeah, what was he thinking not rating the final Hell level? But then I got things like comments asking me to make a rant video on Boy of the Cones, and people on my Discord server asking me to join in the relentless abuse towards the level, RobTop and Coneboy, and this really pissed me off. People are now going as far as to saying this level had killed GD, and that GD is over because a level with straight flying got rated, and I think it's an absolute joke how wet people are being over it, and so I decided to give them what they wanted. This is a video about Buff This, and I'm going to be explaining the hypocrisy behind the GD mob that has formed, talking about RobTop's role in all this, and generally talking about why I think there are serious attitude problems within the creating community that need to be addressed before someone actually kills themselves, all because GMDXX Pro Player XX Gaming is angry that his no-clip layout is getting no attention from RobTop, but Buff This is. The mob mentality in GD is something that really pisses me off, and so I think it's time that somebody who cannot actually be bullied by the mob put them back in their place, and help everybody realise that this is simply just a game and it doesn't matter.
It's only a game. Why you have to be mad?
So, a bad straight flying level got rated. Shock, horror, OMG. This is surely the end of GD. Well, I mean, obviously it isn't, but, I mean, I do want to ask those who are mercilessly bullying Coneboy, what is so bad about this level? Well, it's obviously because straight fly is overused, right? It's oriented towards 144Hz players, and it's a disgrace that such a level be even allowed to be released. Well, to be honest, I think this is a good level. There are no straight fly full-length challenge levels that are rated, so why not have just one? Who says that every rated level needs to be mixed, using every game mode, speed, and type of gameplay? Levels do not have to be anything in particular, and if they have a bit of charm, they are not bound to one specific development type. At this point, I'd like to compare Buff This to Quasar's unrated level Kuklia, or whatever it's called. A very similar level, but using only the wave mode. Yes, I know this is a bit more of a developed level, but you can't really do straight waving, and even if Buff This was just 1 minute of one space waves, everyone would like it more because we've been conditioned to hate the ship mode and straight flying because of 144Hz. We view it as privilege and removing competition from the game. Well, yes, I'm concerned that the big levels of GD of the future have too much straight flying, but that's because they are the big levels that are writing the future of GD. Buff this isn't going to change anything. It will have no impact on your life, or mine. So what's wrong with having one straight fly level rated? It's well decorated and looks way better than some of the rated levels currently. So what's the issue? Well, the issue is that Boy of the Cones made it, and everyone loves to hate him. If Crazyman50 made a level like this, people would be praising him, calling this lateral thinking, and saying that this was a great meme level. The community just likes small-time players they can actually send hate toward. Speaking of Crazyman50, why are all the Buff This enthusiasts not so unhappy about Hungry Humphrey? That level's been rated, and that wasn't particularly good besides the stomach decoration. Buff This had better decoration. What makes Buff This so much worse than as a joke or a meme level to be rated? In all honesty, I genuinely wonder why people are so angry. I asked those begging for a Buff This rant on my Discord server if they could give me one good reason as to how it impacts their lives, and none of them could. They all just hate because they are following the crowd. This level isn't an example of a famous person getting a level rated either, like Don't Rate This Level was. It's literally just a bit of fun, and there are no extended flying challenges that are rated, so could someone give me an actual compelling argument as to why it shouldn't be rated, and as to why this hysteria that it is so warranted? Of course, there are people who are saying, well, why isn't something like Recropolix rated, and this is? And that's true to an extent, but where were you before Buff This? Where were all the activists before Recropolix helped their own interests? It's all just a very plastic form from the GD mob mentality, and it's usually the same group of horrible people like Watty Bang Bang who just cause arguments in comment sections everywhere for the sake of it, and it's really annoying to see. As I said in the beginning, the hate towards Coneboy is seriously misplaced considering he didn't rate the level. Who rated the level? RobTop. Boy of the Cones didn't have any say in the decision, he just asked. Throughout all the hate he has received in his career, it was Rob who rated Catabath, Rob who rated after Catabath, and Rob who promised to and indeed did rate Buff This. That being said, some of you have worked this out, and RobTop is getting hate too. RobTop had several comments on the Buff List level removed because they hit the spam filter as they were so overloaded with dislikes. Basically, people are acting like this has ended the community and it's been a PR disaster for RobTop. Well, it would be if RobTop still actually gave a shit about us, but I have news for you people. He simply does not care about this community anymore. It's clear to see with his stream conduct, his inactivity in updating the game, and generally the shoddy job he's done on things like Geometry-World. But the more important thing is to examine why RobTop no longer wants so much to do with us. Think about it from RobTop's perspective. When he's looking into the community, what does he see? Nothing but hatred and entitlement. The way the community has been acting, I wouldn't be surprised if he genuinely rated Buff This to piss everyone off as a sort of middle finger back to the dickhead community he's created. For those ranting about RobTop who are listening, I have this to say to you. Look at yourselves. What does Rob see when he enters the community? He sees people slamming him, hacking his game, people criticising him for redundant things. Whenever he goes on a Twitch stream, he cannot show his face without being overloaded with requests to rate levels. He's had his address leaked by a channel with 500,000 subs. He gets letters with instructions telling him to rate things through his mailbox for sake. He's had his wife's YouTube leaked, his brother's Facebook leaked. He basically has no privacy and no support, despite the game, while it's not perfect, and massive community that he's made. RobTop hates us, and GD is dying, not because of levels like Buff This, but because of us, and our blatant lack of respect for him. Hell, if it wasn't for Viprint, I doubt he'd even speak with anybody at all in this community. But then again, everyone hates Viprint too, don't they? They hate him for his generic levels and CP whoring. Just because he has a lot of creator points. Because he actually works for his success. And I'm going to be talking more about creators working for their success later. Anytime you hate on RobTop or Viprint, it's probably because you are not intelligent enough to understand the community. And this is another thing that really pisses me off. So basically, one of the reasons many people didn't want to see Buff This rated is because two players threatened to quit if it was. We have Lukequalizer, the best 60Hz player in the world. Many were fearing his loss immensely, but as you may have noticed, he hasn't quit. He recently beat Acropolix. For people to be basing their Buff This hatred on an empty threat like that is ridiculous. Who's next? Oh, we have Rico LP, the downed Blade of Justice verifier. To be honest, I don't even know why he thinks he can get involved with the GD mob mentality, given how much hate he received over nerfing Blade of Justice. What if when he was verifying that, loads of big players came out and said, if this gets nerfed, I'm quitting GD, causing an absolute barrage of abuse? Treat others as you would like to be treated is my message to Rico in this situation. I like both these players, but to think you can say stuff like that which has actual social media consequences for the person whose level you are remarking against is ridiculous. I think they should both apologise to Boy of the Cones, to be honest. Okay, last fish I want to fry. This has been something I've felt strongly about for a while now. Unnoticed creators. Unnoticed creators is a term very loosely used to describe the portion of the creating community that doesn't have any fame. It's sort of lost its meaning in 2.12, and it now quite literally means anybody who hasn't got views or downloads on their level. The plight of unnoticed creators has been valid at some points. If I remember correctly, Etzer once said that the top 50 featured levels at one point in 2.0 was held by a mere 30 creators. So sometimes, Rob gets lazy and needs to branch out. But that's what mods are for, and since then Rob has appointed tons more mods, whose job it is to send unknown levels. Unfortunately, however, there's now this belief in the community that unnoticed in any form automatically means you have amazing levels and are deserving of success. The community is so hysterical that we seem to have this belief that anybody who is famous is garbage, like Viprin, and anybody who is unnoticed is a creating god being downtrodden by some Geostorm conspiracy. Well, I have news for you. Just because you aren't famous, that doesn't mean you're entitled to it. You are not entitled to rates, features, level sends or anything unless you can back it up with good levels. And don't get me wrong, sometimes there are creators that need more attention, but the majority of the time these loud-mouthed, unnoticed creators claim they deserve fame, then churn out shite levels. In 2.1, there is a big unwarranted sense of entitlement among almost every creator, and this is the creating side of GD that is more toxic in my opinion. There's so much snobbery. I mean, all you have to do is look at a level preview on any channel on YouTube and you'll see people tearing it down out of jealousy. And this debate has now worked its way to the Buff This drama, with people using Buff This as a scapegoat so they can say that their lack of fame is not their fault, and that Boy of the Cone should suffer because he had a rated level that wasn't as good as said particular unnoticed level. Well, this is some of the most ridiculous scapegoating I've ever seen in the community. If you want to be a big creator, work for it. Keep making levels, join mega collabs, promote your levels on forums, websites and GD congregations, upload your levels to YouTube, enter creator contests. There's an absolute world of stuff you can do to build your profile, rather than heading over to Boy of the Cone's page and blaming your lack of effort and smart thinking on him. Stop talking and start working. That's what Viprin did. Viprin was unnoticed at one point, as was every creator in the top 100. If you are not working and are instead blaming someone for being unnoticed, well, I'm sorry there's competition out there, but please get a grip and stop joining in the Buff This mob mentality under the false pretenses that it is somehow getting in the way of your chances of becoming a better creator. So, that was my rant on Buff This by Boy of the Cones, and it probably wasn't what you were all expecting, but I feel it was necessary because the way the community has gotten so toxic over a level, I think this situation illustrates it more than ever of how much the community uses one thing to scapegoat their problems. So if you're an unnoticed creator or you just want to cause a bit of shit in the community, Buff This situation seems to have been the perfect and most recent way to do it. So let's summarise the video, shall we? Buff This isn't a bad level. It's a straight flying level, but we don't like it because we've been conditioned to hate straight flying. It also is getting so much criticism because it's by Boy of the Cones. If it was by someone like Crazy Man, as I've already stated, it wouldn't be getting hate. It's a challenging level and there are no other levels like it, so it's not generic. So just for once, why don't we branch out from this idea and have a level, like a rated level like that? It'll be fun, it'll be challenging, and it won't matter to anybody in the long run. Boy of the Cones isn't the greatest person. I think he's lied about a few things and he has a hacking past and he is a bit over dramatic as well. But he shouldn't be, I don't think he should be a mod either, but he shouldn't be getting all this hate. He He has been mercilessly hammered ever since he joined the community, and I'll admit in the beginning, when he was fueling it by lying about being a mod back in 2.0, he did somewhat deserve it, but he's not done anything wrong. He was not responsible for it being rated. He built a level and it got rated. He should not be getting things like death threats and people telling large people telling him that they're going to quit over it. RobTob shouldn't have rated the level as an argument people put out, but to be honest, I think he should have done it because it was pretty funny and it shut a lot of you up and it kind of annoyed a lot of you. I think RobTob can be allowed to be a joker sometimes. I mean, he rated Hungry Humphrey, and who cared? Nobody. If you're an unnoticed creator and you're upset about Buff This being rated, then I just have to inform you that the community doesn't owe you shit. If you're an unnoticed creator, get out there, start promoting yourself, start doing more, join mega collabs, enter creator contests, not just Vipering creator contests, any you can find. Be proactive and think smart, rather than just finding something like Buff This, a boy of the cones, to scapegoat and blame for your problems. Get out there and work for your success. That's what every single person who's big in GD and on YouTube has done. They've worked. When you stop talking and you start doing, that's when the magic happens. And that's why nobody in this GD mob mentality will ever be a successful creator or player. The GD mob mentality is straight up cancer, and it's probably the worst, most game destroying thing, and yet half the people in it don't even realise that they're doing anything wrong, even though it's clear to see with the amount of hate they're peddling. I hope the GD mob mentality stop and sort of realise just how in the wrong they are, and they subside their hate and they stop being horrible. This is a game. The rating of a level doesn't impact your life. It just baffles me how people take this to heart so much. You're such a theatrical, hysterical community of children. I think this needs to just end before somebody like kills themselves, because it genuinely could happen. The GD mob is a powerful group of very aggressive people, and if it hit the wrong person who couldn't take it, what if they killed themselves? Over what? A level got rated and somebody killed themselves. What a waste of life. I just think we need to take a step back and take a deep breath and realise that in the grand scheme, it just really doesn't matter. Look at what anger and lust for power did to Anakin Skywalker. He became Darth Vader. Don't let it do the same to you. Please. Peace out. I thank you for your time for watching this, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like on it, and if you're new to the channel, if you could consider subscribing and checking out some of my other work, it would really help me out. Thanks guys, I'll see you all soon.